Welcome into the Skinny Podcast. It's the weekly Potpourri edition. I'm Richard Skinner, Local12.com digital sports columnist and editor, along with Rick Broering. As always, it's presented by Blake, the attorney Maislin. We got some Bengals, some college basketball, college football, and much, much more to talk about on this pre-Christmas edition. We're doing this the day before Christmas Eve, so we're actually doing this a couple of days early with Christmas falling on a Thursday. So appreciate everybody just kind of moving their calendar around to maybe catch a watch or a listen of this. And we were happy to get it out early this week, so we would have one up. So there we go. Rick, what we got?
Hopefully you can check it out while you're traveling maybe. And Skinny, I did want to thank you for sending me over that picture of you this morning drinking your hot cocoa before the podcast. I appreciated that for the tweet.
See, the funny part to that stuff is I can't do any of that doctoring of photo stuff. I just can't.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm sure you don't, Rick, you clever little son of a you.
Okay. We'll have a good Ask Skinny Anything segment at the end of the show. But okay. Let's get into the Bengals first. They win 45-21 on Sunday. Burrow throws 4 touchdowns. Chase Brown scores 3 of them, 2 receiving, 1 rushing. The Bengals scored 35 points straight at one point in this game, Skinny. How do you explain last week's performance versus this week's performance?
Building momentum for 2026, Rick. That's what they're doing. They just started the first step towards building that momentum.
Well, okay, so that's my other question. Do you buy into that narrative at all, that theory of like you need to build momentum, or there actually is the potential for them to build momentum? Does this final few games mean anything for next year?
No, I think it does from a standpoint of guys stacking reps, like the 2 rookie linebackers getting more live game action, seeing more things, hopefully getting more consistent. Miles Murphy continuing to stack pretty good game after pretty good game. Dylan Fairchild, the rookie left guard, continuing to stack reps and continue to stack good reps. I think that's important. I think it was important for Burrow to get out of his own way. I mean, again, I'm not going to go back to psychoanalyzing like we all did for a week plus, but I think we would all agree that if Joe Burrow had turned in another clunker performance, you would have started scratching your head going, what is up? So instead, the week before, he has the second worst passer rating in a game in his career after the week in which he was sullen and moody and it was just out of sorts. And it made you wonder, that doesn't 2 and 2 doesn't add up there. And then he turns around this game and it's the second highest passer rating performance in a single game in his career. Some of it's Miami related. They're not very good to begin with. They were without Minkah Fitzpatrick. They started a rookie quarterback who got off to a nice start and then started doing some rookie quarterback things. I think the defense has made some strides. Even in that Ravens game, they only gave up 17 points. And another one was on a pick 6. So I think that's helped a little bit. So I don't believe the momentum part of it, but I do believe in guys stacking, more and more reps and more game action to hopefully have it slow down for them a little bit next year.
No, we talked last week about the fact that there probably isn't going to be any changes. So maybe that's the answer to this question to begin with. But do you think these last few games have any bearing on what the front office is thinking or the ownership group in terms of the future of the team?
So my post-game column I wrote was, they deserve to be happy. They deserve to get on the plane and go home and be happy. They played well. They looked like they were having fun. Everybody associated deserves that because they earned it. And so good for them. But you can't let anything that happens in these last 3 games fool you if you're the front office. You still need major overhaul on defense. And you can't let this cloud you. Like, as much as I think Miles Murphy's playing well, you still had no sacks from your defensive unit on Sunday. Not a single sack. And so, Shamar Stewart was pretty blah. I mean, he had 2 tackles. I remember one of them, but he sure didn't pop off the screen at me. Geno Stone on that Devon A-Chain long touchdown run looked like he was tackling air. I don't know what the hell he was doing there. It was almost like he was afraid of contact or thought they were playing flag football or 2-hand touch. So yeah, you can't be lulled into a false sense of security. It's happened before. It can't happen this time. I think the good thing is, I think you did also see that when all hands are on deck on offense, this is still a very, very explosive unit. I mean, you can't pick your poison with this unit. Gesicki gets a touchdown. Chase Brown had the 3 touchdowns, 2 receiving. Jamar had over 100 yards receiving. T makes a great catch and then has a great touchdown catch. I mean, the weapons are still bountiful. They just haven't had a chance to play together a lot this year. I don't think that was going to change some of the results because of the poor defensive performance in those other games. But again, it does show you that, hey, this offense still clicks at a high level when everybody's healthy and everybody's in the right frame of mind.
It does, and that was good to see, but it also makes the week before even more of a what the hell happened there situation for that group to get shut out. It's kind of telling on yourself in a way. It's like, well, if this is what you're still capable of, then last week, clearly your guys' heads were not in it.
Yeah, no, and sometimes football is a weird game. This game they were 6 for 6 in scoring touchdowns when they got into the red zone. Last week they got inside the 33-yard line 5 times and came away with no points. That's some of that can be pointed to simply execution, and they just didn't execute when they needed to in that Baltimore game. And this game they did. And again, I go back to Miami's just not very good, and that's why you can't lull yourself into that.
Yeah, that's a fact. Jamar Chase has been voted to the AFC team for the Pro Bowl in 2026. He was the only Bengal to get named. Are you surprised by that?
No, I think DJ Turner's played at a Pro Bowl level. I think I've said that early in the year, and I think I've said that multiple times, and he clearly is. But you know how this works. You got to get on the radar first a lot of times before, they will vote you in. And I think this was the year DJ Turner gets on a radar. Now people know who he is. Now you pay more attention to him when it comes to voting. And I think if he plays at this level next year, I think he'll be a definitive Pro Bowl. He's a third alternate. I don't watch the Pro Bowl anymore, but it feels like third alternates get in this game a lot of times for whatever different reasons there are.
Yeah, so people always seem to say no, or they can't go, they're injured, whatever. It's definitely not like guys are dying to go to the Pro Bowl. That's for sure. So
unless it's your first time, I think your first time you'd be excited to go for sure. After that, it probably is
Sure. Yeah. I mean, guys I'm not saying like no one wants to go at all, but there are definitely a number of guys every year that are like, I'm trying to get out of this thing. So Good chance that he'll find his way in that game. All right. Anything else on the Bengals, Skinny?
No. Like I said, I know fans probably are rooting for losses, and that's fine because you want the best draft pick you can get. But anybody that had the notion that they're going to tank, I think was out of their mind. I mean, you're just too prideful as an athlete at the professional level and a coach that you're trying to go win. And I'll give them credit. They won. They deserve to enjoy that win. But as I mentioned, the front office cannot be fooled. Listen, you can evaluate. You can say, okay, the 2 rookie linebackers, man, down the stretch really started to get it. We're going to bank on them again. I can live with some of those type of things, but you can't just all of a sudden go, going to run it back with the same dudes because look what we did. No, nope. You're not can't do that. And you just can't.
See what you just mentioned there about like, oh man, the rookie linebackers showed progress down the stretch. That type of thinking really worries me with this franchise.
I will tell you this. I don't think after you plug them in this year that they were ever going to go on the market. Like when you're on the shopping list in this offseason, it has to be edge rusher, 3 technique tackle, safety, 1, 2, 3, then corner, and then veteran linebacker just to have another veteran. So it's way down the list. So you want these guys to show you something down the stretch to go, okay, yeah, we can get a mid-level free agent at that position just to have some experience there, but we think these guys are coming on. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. If you saw what you think you saw, I'm fine with that. But the problem is you just can't do all of this in one off season. And so if you think you're going to blow up the linebacker room, it's probably 5th on the priority list at the moment.
Yeah, I don't even mean the linebacker specifically. I just mean that line of thinking. It could be about Miles Murphy. It could be about whoever. Just that line of thinking of like, oh, they started making progress at the end of the year. We're going to be good with them next year. It's like, no, nothing about this defense was good enough this year. The problem is what you just brought up. You can't replace all of it. I mean, you have to pick and choose and prioritize. And so there are going to be certain position groups where that is what you ultimately talk yourself into as well. That guy looked good down the stretch. Maybe we'll give him another shot. And the linebackers are probably the most likely because of the youth. Yeah,
and I'll be honest with you, Rick. I'm going to write this piece. I don't know if it's tomorrow, if I have time on Christmas Eve day, because it's just crazy. We got to be down there for interviews and stuff, or Friday, the day after Christmas. But Jalen Davis has impressed me as a slot corner. I mean, he made the interception on Sunday. He had a tackle for loss. He's shown up in other games. And so I started Al Golden yesterday when we talked to him separately on a kind of a line of questioning that everybody else kind of jumped on, which was fine, of, Jalen Davis coming off the practice squad, getting plugged right in. And at one point, Al finally just looked up and goes, I got to be honest, guys, since he's been in the lineup, that's made all the difference in the world for all these. And he started listing off a laundry list of reasons why. And maybe they have found their Mike Hilton replacement in Jalen Davis. Mike was a practice squad guy for a year plus in Pittsburgh and finally got his chance. Now, Jalen's been all over the map in this league. If you go to his transaction page on ProFootballReference.com, and it was funny, Al yesterday, he said, he goes, I don't know how many times this poor guy's been waived or cut, released, re-signed to the practice squad. So I went real quick, got the media guide, and as we got done, I said, here, take a look at this. He goes, Yep, looks like his middle name is Waved, which I'm like.
How many times was it?
Oh my gosh, dude! I too many to count. It's an incredible amount to count. But you talk about perseverance, and when you finally get your chance, kind of going out and playing, good for Jalen Davis, and good for Al for literally saying he's made a ton of difference for these reasons. He said he calms everything down because he's always in the right place at the right time. There's something to be said. That was Mike Hilton, right?
Maybe after a certain point, you've seen all there is to see. You go to so many teams and so many systems and so many different ways of doing things. You're like, I've seen this before. I know it all.
Yeah, correct.
Slows you down. That's interesting. Well, we'll keep an eye on him.